friends. Welcome to the metal shop. Today, or tonight as it is, we are working on 1989 Foxbody Saleen Mustang, as you can see. I'm trying to get a jump start on my projects for the summer. You can see the car cover is still on this. I just peeled it back for this opening shot and to work on it. So I thought I'd start with a relatively simple and easy project of installing the MGP Caliper Covers. So I custom ordered a set in black with the yellow Saleen logo in them. They're already installed here. We'll go back and I will go over the installation. Enjoy my thumb there. What should have been a relatively simple bolt-on, honestly taking the wheels off, should have taken longer than bolting the caliper covers on. Probably, you know, maybe a 1 hour project. Ended up taking me about 3. Sorry for, I do jump around a little bit. I was going to do the fronts first, but I did end up doing the rear first. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out. You know, this is what you get. I say this over and over again, a constant theme on my channel. You get this with customization. I have, you know, 03, 04 Cobra brakes made by Bear on a 1989 Mustang. So you're going to run into problems with off-the-shelf parts not fitting. So let's go. Enjoy. All right, so we're going to move to the rear of the vehicle, which the rear caliper covers go on just a little bit easier in my opinion. If you remember from the front, the studs are built in to the cover itself. The rear is different than that, in that you just have the slot in the cover itself, and the stud is built into the clip. So you slide the clip on, put the cover on over the top of that, and I mean 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Which is easier? I guess it all depends on the vehicle. But again, like I stated earlier, these are the this is the Bear M2300K Killer kit, which is exactly the same as the Ford Motorsport M2300. And Ford used it on all their performance vehicles, all their Cobras from at least 98 to 04. Maybe even, I might even go further back than that. I think it might even go back to 95. Just double check for yourself before ordering. But this part number, this 117 SCUS DF. DF stands for Designated Finish. The rest of it, 1017 or 10017 is the basic part number for the, you know, the 03, 04 Cobras and back. And that's what I have for brakes on this Saleen Foxbody. All right, so let's pop this wheel off and have a real quick look-a-see. All right, so sliding these rear clips on could not be any simpler. You can see that. It's pretty obvious where they go. They kind of go, they're right in line with the rotor itself, and just don't pay any attention to that rust. I haven't got this car out yet this year. It's just the very beginning of May, and honestly, we haven't had good enough weather here in New England to run this car yet. Anyway, so it really just slips on, like we said, right in line with the rotor itself. That's it, right there, just like that. And they do include a feeler gauge in the kit, a .13 feeler gauge. It's just a real thick piece of paper, so you can check your clearance, and the piece of paper should fit through there without sticking, is how they say it. And that fits. I mean, you can't see, it's hard to see, but that fits through there just fine with plenty of room. I've put the bottom one on already. Oh, my wheel is headed out in my driveway probably. And check that. And there's generally even more clearance down here. So we will take off the nuts here. They're just 3/8 lock nuts, and those aren't even finger tight. sorry about the black gloved finger in the frame. And goes on there like so. Stand by. All right, so we've run into a snag. I don't know if you could tell from that last shot, I went to fit these up, and these should fit up just perfectly. And if you look, you can see those studs, there's absolutely no way those are gonna line up. I mean, there's just no way, it's not even close. So I look close at these brakes. Now the kit that I purchased, this M2300K killer kit from Bear, is supposed to use 0304 Cobra parts, but you guys that are in the know can tell right away, those are not regular 0304 Cobra rear brakes. Not sure exactly what they used. Guess I better find out in case I ever need to change the pads. But anyway, I talked to MGP, who manufactures the caliper covers, and what their tech told me is that these tabs are aluminum and that you can just bend them, you know, bend them to fit. And he's like, you have to bend these tabs away from each other as much as possible, and he thought they would fit. If you look here, you can see the way that these are going to bend. They're not, I'm trying not to scratch these up. They're not going to bend this way very well. I mean, they'll bend the other direction plenty, but I tried to bend them apart, you know, away from each other as far as I could, and I gained 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch tops. It's just not going to work. So what I came up with for a solution, it's not super elegant, is I'm going to hook one tab on like that. Now the other one is like so. I picked up these kind of bridging plates, mending plates, whatever you want to call these, at a local hardware store. I have these in my toolbox. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get, these are nice and stainless, and it's a nylock nut. I'd like to get 3/8. These are a little bit smaller than 3/8, you know, 1/4 inch or whatever. I'd like to get 3/8 just so that it matches the 3/8 nuts and bolts that come with the kit. But you can see what I'm going to do here is, and plus these have, you know, kind of a flush head, and probably like a button head or something might work better. I'm not sure. But like I said, I have these on hand. And actually, I got these plates from, you know, place where I work. They gave them to me. So, tough to do with one hand, but I'm going to, sorry, excuse my horrible camera work. I'm going to mount this here like a stud. And hang on, again. There we go. So I'm just going to do that. And I think the little bridging plate will actually work just fine. So I'll get that tightened up. And those should fit no problem. And then we'll go on to the fronts, and that's a whole new can of worms that we can open into, so stand by. All right, so got the rear mounted up. I did end up finding a couple of 3/8 bolts and even some star washers just like included with the kit. The only problem being they're mild steel, they're not stainless like what's included with the kit. The nylock would not work because the head is able to spin underneath. It's not a stud. So the star washers worked out just fine. And honestly, I don't drive this car in the rain anyway, so it really is not going to be an issue. So I'm gonna do that, make that little bridge deal to the other side. You can't see it, looks good, no problem. And we'll move on to those fronts. All right, so we're on to the fronts. And those are 0304 Cobra brakes. They say Bear on them, and they're made by PBR out of Australia, but I believe PBR made all the brakes for Ford from like 98 to 04 for all the Cobras. Anyway, I have already test fit the caliper cover, and it fits just fine. It was, you know, I used a little piece of paper there, the gauge, to check the clearance when you mount the clip. onto the caliper itself, and it goes in. It's got some drag. It's a little bit snug, but it goes in. I'm not real worried about it because it will clearance itself. You know, it'll either grind away a little bit of the outside of this rotor, or it will grind away the clip itself. Hang on. Anyway, my son just walked through. These have a different mounting style. The stud is in the cover itself, so this goes on first, and the clip goes on after, and then you put the nut on top. It's nice. It's really snug. These fit very well. They fit the brakes very, very snugly. The problem that I was running into was clearance with the wheel. And I don't know if you can tell, if you can see this or not, but this has been ground down a little bit because it used to be a lot more squared off, and the stern wheels that I run actually was hitting right here on this, the stupid, you know, the filler, you know, filler neck, whatever you want to call that thing. Hopefully I can edit in what is properly called. The valve stem, that metal valve stem is kind of unique to these, and it sticks out quite a bit. I was having problems clearancing even the brakes, but when I bought these stern wheels, they're hard to get. They're very expensive. You know, they're OE on the Saleen, the SA10 anniversary cars. They're, as far as I'm concerned, the nicest looking wheels for the Foxbody Mustang. And I did a ton of research trying to get a set with the proper offsets, and I couldn't. I got as close as I could, but I did, you know, calculations down to the infinitesimal part of the inch, and I ended up with a 3/8 inch spacer. And these are nice bare billet aluminum spacers, a 3/8 inch spacer here on the front, and I used ARP racing studs. These had the bullet nubs on them for, you know, speed driving the lugs on. I just cut those off and ground a nice little, I swaged a, you know, nice little chamfer there in it. Anyway, I'm perfectly happy with the fitment of the wheels with the 3/8 inch spacer. Well, I can't say that, the 3/8 inch spacer and the racing studs. But the problem that I was having was that air stem, that valve stem, the metal valve stem, was hitting this right here. So again, when I talked to the tech guy, they said these tabs you can bend up. You kind of, you bend the tab closer to the face, you bend it in that direction closer to the face, and then you remake the flat, and essentially it moves it down just a little bit. So I have done that, I've bent it, and let's see, hopefully we have clearance. I could run bigger spacers, you know, I tried it, and even with just a 1/2 inch spacer, just going up 1/8 of an inch, it cleared just fine, but I'd really rather not do that. Hopefully the bending of the tabs will give me the clearance I need. I only need an 1/8 inch clearance. Got the 1/2 inch spacers right over there. I got a whole bunch of these when I was doing my wheel project years ago. Let me trust me, it was a real pain getting the sterns on this Foxbody car for a car that was never intended to have it. So let's get this mounted up and get the wheel on there and see if we got some clearance. Stand by. All right, so success. I've had the fronts mounted. I've had the wheel on and off several times, checking it for clearance, and I have clearance. That valve stem sneaks around there. Pretty much got 1/8 of an inch all the way around, a little tighter in a couple of spots. And what I ended up doing was I took this wrench here and I hooked right onto this and I bent it. I bent it back, and I bent back these lips, just kind of metal worked them a little bit. And I took a dead blow hammer and I bent this lip right here so that it's really very flush with the caliper itself. And it does clear. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it because the problem being, well, this is aluminum. I believe that valve stem, I'll check it with a magnet, is steel. I mean, what's worse, I have some spares of those weird bent valve stems like that, but I think this would give up first rather than chew through the valve stem if they ever started rubbing into one another. Hopefully this soft aluminum would give before the steel and not cause me a flat tire condition. So I am able to run my 3/8 inch spacer that I've run for years now. Give this one little last tweak, put the wheel on, and we are good to go. Be able to get the car out. Have a few more projects to do before I get this thing truly and truly out of hibernation. But as always, my friends, thank you for watching. A lot more Jeep videos coming up. I know most of the subscribers on the channel are here for the, they liked the Explorer project and the Jeep project. Lots more to come with the Jeep, a little bit more to come with the Foxbody Mustang. As always, my friends, I really and truly do appreciate your support. Please give me a thumbs up if you're so inclined. Please share the video. And please subscribe if you are new to the channel. Love new subscribers. And comment. I love the comments, and I still try and reply to every single comment that I get. I don't get so many that I can't do it. All right, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.